Um, Okay, I don't know if I don't know how well the I don't know exactly where the microphone is on this Logitech webcam, but I cover up the oh, look at me. Here, I'll show you. Here. See that? I can already see a spot where I should have shaved. I never do this 100%. Why? Because I do it. Look at that. An extra strip over here. That's an extra strip that needs to be cut or something. Oh well. I'm not gonna worry about it. It doesn't matter if I look goofy or not because I don't get out that much anyways, and so who cares, right? Back to desktop. Okay. So today I'm gonna try to finish chapter 5, which I thought I was gonna get to last week, but I didn't end up doing that. And tomorrow my dad's got an appointment, so my time of being on here is gonna be weird again. Either I'm gonna do it later in the day, or um, or earlier maybe. I don't know. It really depends. Maybe I'll do part one in the morning, and then part two I'll do it after we come back. That might work. Anyways, it'll be a kind of weird schedule tomorrow. Oh, look at that! I got an update. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about that update. Okay. Okay. So let's look at this real quick. Man's get free. Princess climbs. Guards. Okay. So I'm gonna have to pull up my notes again. Recent notes. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't show tips on startup anymore. It gets annoying. Okay. Oh, darn it. I dropped my I dropped my lid. I flipped my lid. No, I didn't flip my lid. Well, maybe it flipped on the way down, but uh, and honestly, I should give me a quick second here. I use the old low-tech way of covering up the camera. Just go ahead and flip. Actually, it probably doesn't matter. Probably can't even hardly see the shirt anyways. This one's beginning to have holes in it. This is one of my good shirts, but since I've had it, I've probably had it 10 years now. I even think I got this one back when I was in Montana, which is over 10 years ago. We moved in here to Florida in 2014, so I was in Montana in 2014. So this is over 10 years old. The shirt is. Anyways, just like magic, it's magic, everybody. Okay. Anyways, okay, let's see if we can get chapter 5 done today. I'm still trying to come up with ideas to make the stream visually more interesting for times when I have to do the story stuff. This is part of the game here. Okay, so there's a couple things going on real quick. I guess, like usual, I'm talking and I'll go off on a tangent and I'll waste a bunch of time instead of getting to it. But I'll get to it in just a sec. But the um, the deal here is I'm trying to essentially kind of keep a document, even though I'm not like recording all these. I do the little recordings at the end. I do have them as long as YouTube is still here and for some reason hasn't like deleted my account or whatever. So all of my VODs right now are still here, and so I'm doing it partially for documentation, and then the other part is to let you see inside the thought process, right? But I still have to do this, make this ways. I mean, I might be able to do some visual stuff later and all that. I don't know. I'm gonna try to do that. someone suggested, I think Khan suggested that let's pull this up. Suggested that it, try at least the AI uh Skeletor. Hold on a sec. Um, Okay. Um. Anyways, I have to do all this stuff anyways, even if I did it all completely offline, right? And I thought a couple of times of stopping the streaming thing, but it's just like okay, the only way the streaming slows me down a little bit is me going off on tangents, which I can kind of fix, and then interacting with people, which I don't get that many viewers, so that doesn't even matter. If I get to a point where it does matter, maybe I'll decrease the amount, but then again, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll have so many people in here that it's really fun just to get on here and get working and stuff too. So that's what I hope, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. But anyways, so yeah, so this stuff has to be done. I can't not do it, you know. And I kind of said to myself that if I ever work on the game that I have to work on the game, I'm gonna be doing it on a stream. Otherwise, I don't work on it, you know. And that's been working okay so far as spending time on my game. Um, it keeps me having time separated and not, wasting it with other stuff. I'd always like more time, but that's just kind of not feasible half the time. So, anyways, we're just stuck with this boring stuff until I like learn how to use, like, for instance, the AI image generators, because I can use that for concept art and stuff. Somebody suggested a mood board, and I don't really know what mood boards are. I don't know any of that kind of visual stuff that they do now. You know, um, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll ask the AI, one of the AIs, about that, about the stuff that I could be doing, as far, even though I'm just doing text right now, because it will be visual eventually. So I should already be like coming up with cartoon characters and you know, just my drawing's atrocious, and not just atrocious because of my drawing, but because, like, literally I have barely any control over my stylus and stuff now. My hands shake. My hands have always shaken. Um, some sort of nervous thing or whatever. It's related to my ADD and whatever else, anxiety and everything that I have. No, I'm not having anxiety right now. I just meant whatever is causing all the crap that I have is the same thing that causes my hands to shake. So, um, yeah. So I'm not that great, anyways. But now, especially trying to hold a stylus on a graphics tablet. Um, okay, so let's see. What do we need to do? Closet, empty room, map. Okay, first on the left is the empty room. Map room is second on the left, and the closet's the first on the right. Okay, that's good. Oh, darn it. Spilling stuff on myself. I don't got a napkin or anything here. Wipe my hand on my pants. Because I don't know. I guess I'm kind of lazy with stuff, so I spill stuff on myself all the time. Mr. Lazybones himself. Okay, so let's decide how we're gonna do this. Okay, so the three we'll have three options, and so we start with this. Meanwhile, in the wine cellar, the hotel princess tied to wine cask with the help of some mice. She managed to get free of the ropes. Climbs central staircase, looks out into the kitchen from the door, realizing there are guards there and the door is locked. She goes back down to explore. Okay. Um. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I was going to do, right? I was going to add the dumbwaiter thing is the next page. So I decided I was going to add a couple of I'll do like two choices or pages and two choices. Okay, so let's do this. Um, Looking around. Cavernous wine cellar. She notices it goes further on behind the staircase. And also looking to her left as she's coming down, she notices the end. She notices an alcove with a few tables. The end. Okay. Okay. So now let's just do hit 1 to explore behind the staircase. Hit 2 to check out the alcove. Okay, we'll do it like that. Okay. And this is unlikely help. Okay. So I guess I'm gonna need at least 2 deals. Okay, so this is how we're gonna do it. Okay, one's behind the stairs, one's the alcove, and then a second behind the stairs. Let's see. I wonder if I should just use the same one. Like this goes down to here, this goes to here, but then this also goes to here, like that. Because then I really only need two extra pages as far as that goes. I don't know if I came up with any like particular thing she finds. Because at one point John uses like the corkscrew and like the knife. Shoot, maybe there's an ice pick. Let's say that well, you don't serve. I don't guess. Um, well, I guess you do serve. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to add in. Wait, new version. Okay. I'm gonna add in a little extra here into the alcove. This is just. I think it's of a corkscrew. Maybe there's a corkscrew and an ice pick. You know, I was thinking, well, why would you have an ice pick? Because you don't typically drink wine over ice, and you do serve it chilled. So, what if there's what do they call those things? Here, let's see something here. What do you call the dish bowl that you serve chilled wine in? Like, and I don't even know if it's just champagne or all wine, but we usually have wait a second. Do you ever serve wine chilled? I don't know anything about wine. I don't drink wine, so um, this is relative. Chilling wine is not a mistake as a matter of style and context. For instance, chilled or ice. Some people enjoy chilled. Okay. Additional advice suggests serving reds that are. Okay, I'm not really interested in drinking wine, but one of the characters in my game is trapped in a wine cellar, and I have at one end uh, a small-ish alcove with a couple of small tables. Uh, I don't know if that'd be stools or not. I guess maybe stools. I'm not sure. And maybe I don't have chairs. Maybe I won't have chairs. Maybe a stand. Yeah, stand. I guess. Uh, maybe a couple of chairs. But on one of the tables is a cheese wheel with a knife sticking out, some glasses that look like they had wine in them recently. Um, and I was going to also put a corkscrew on one of the tables, and then I was thinking, would there be a reason that an ice pick would be sitting on a table in a wine cellar, as I'm looking at some items that could plausibly be used to pick a lock on a set of shackles. So one thought is the knife and corkscrew. However, a knife probably wouldn't be able to pick a lock. Really, neither would a corkscrew or uh, ice pick, but ice pick uh, uh, instead of a knife or cheese knife, instead of a cheese knife, um, seems more plausible. Doesn't have to be extremely realistic, just somewhat believable. Let's see. An ice pick would not be standard tool in a wine cellar, but its presence on a table in a fictional or narrative setting, especially one with tasting or entertaining area, can be a plausible bit of creative justification. Wine cellars, particularly those designed for tastings, often include a small service area with tables, glasses, a corkscrew, and a cheese board, like your cheese wheel and knife. While an ice pick isn't typical, it could be used in a wine context for chilling or breaking ice if the cellar doubles as a tasting room where chilled wines or cocktails are occasionally served. For example, some sparkling wines or fortified wines might be served with ice, or the character might be preparing a wine-based cocktail. Alternatively, the ice pick could have been left behind from a different use, such as breaking up ice for a cooler or a wine bucket, or even as a makeshift tool for removing old corks or cleaning equipment. In a narrative sense, its sharp, pointed tip makes it visually and functionally suggestive of a lock-picking tool, even if not realistic, perfect for a scene where a character improvises an escape. So while not common, ice pick can be believably placed on a wine cellar table, especially if the setting blends storage with hospitality. Adds a touch of realism with a dash of dramatic utility. Ah, nice, nice. Uh, Actually, that's actually a good deal right there. That's almost what I would have in the wine cellar there. Although this is just a straight straight shelving or whatever with the where the presumably where several wine bottles would be. Yeah, a barrel with a couple chairs. That's like a perfect idea. That's a thought too. I should start concepting some of this stuff, I guess. And I could draw it. I'm not gonna do it right this second because I gotta get this. I'm gonna get this thing finished. In fact, I'm gonna get most of this finished, probably without visuals. That doesn't mean I won't make visuals. While I'm still making these this first phase narrative uh event pass thing. But I just mean today. I still have to find a time when I can start working on some of that stuff. And yeah, and I didn't even think about it. If I can find some time, it's kind of weird. I have a lot of time, but I don't have any time. It's just, the stuff that you have to do and I have to do and whatever. And um, you think I'd have a lot of time, but I don't. But I guess at night, if I have an extra hour or something, I should every night I should go ahead and do like some sketches. Start sketching what would be some backgrounds. I mean, it doesn't have to even be a background. It could just be what I've described so far in some of my stuff. I might should go ahead and start sketching out stuff that I haven't gotten to yet, and then go back and sketch the other stuff because I've already kind of figured some of this out in my head already. So yeah, and I guess I'll just offline. I'll record. I won't even really do any talking. I'll record off my desktop. I'll start drawing or even using AI for concepting or whatever, and then um, yeah, start coming up, bringing pictures in and doing whatever. Uh, Anywho, let's get back to the deal. So I guess I can go ahead and put an ice pick in there. In fact, I'm gonna have wine bucket. Um, in fact, I can put a wine bucket empty and an ice pick. Now I don't know where you get the ice because I don't know how you would store it because they used to store ice in like a big like room before they had refrigeration and um yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe there's some sort of magical deal. If I put it in like a little cavernous like area that has ice in it, um sitting inside it, uh, as if someone was going to put it away, but just haven't yet. as if recently used but not yet put away as possible atmospheric detail for your wine cellar scene. Wine buckets, also called ice buckets or champagne coolers, are commonly used to chill wines, rosés, or sparkling wines with ice before serving. After use, the tools, ice picks or tongs, might be left inside temporarily, especially in a casual or rush setting. Could reasonably be present the character was chilling a bottle and needed to break up the ice for the bucket, using it as a tool to clear compacted ice or unclog a cooler. Preparing cocktails or chilled drinks alongside wine, though not a standard part of a formal wine service, in a lived-in or functional cellar, such details add realism. The image of an ice pick resting in an empty bucket subtly suggests recent activity, perfect for storytelling. Uh, for the shackles, fitting the improvised escape. Okay, so another little detail that is probably not important to the scene, but is important for me to keep in mind. Um, if you were doing something like that, where would the ice come from? Especially if it was in a time uh, when regular refrigeration uh, refrigeration wasn't a thing. Now, my game is actually set in a contemporary setting, but it's a magic kingdom. So it's not really using technology, although it has modern amenities. And um, as it's a tourist resort and uses magic for some modern conveniences. Two-way magic mirrors. Lights without apparent light sources. I have trains. I have flying trains, which are certainly not medieval, but work in my fantasy setting. And also a dumbwaiter, which wasn't even really invented until the 1800s, sometime. Uh, Here, let's see what this says. I guess I'm just using Brave Leo search thing. Typically harvested from frozen lakes and rivers during winter and stored in insulated ice houses or underground pits lined with straw, sawdust, or wood to slow melting. Could preserve ice well into summer, especially in cooler, shaded locations like wine cellars. Wealthy households, taverns, and royal courts used this to chill ice to chill drinks, preserve food, prepare desserts. Uh, Wine cellar's ice could come from a magically preserved ice store, rune inscribed chamber, and enchanted ice house that never melts. Seasonal harvesting enhanced by magic ice gathered in winter and kept frozen through spells. Magical source, perpetual frost spring, glacier shard, or conjure cold zone within the kingdom. The historical plausibility with the world's magical infrastructure. But to actual ice houses, were separate structures, right? Or would you have a room in a wine cellar for this purpose? I'm trying to establish a thing here for my deal. Yeah, typically separate structures often built underground or as standalone buildings, especially well designed to store ice harvest in winter. Double walled, well insulated, usually located on the north side of the property to minimize heat exposure. While wine cellars were also underground and cool, they were not typically used to store ice. Their purpose was to maintain steady for aging. Yeah, I know that. However, some larger estates and breweries had adjacent or connected cold storage areas where ice house might be linked via a short passageway to a cellar used for chilling food or drinks. There were cases a section of wine cellar complex could be adapted for temporary ice storage, especially if used for serving chilled wines. So while separate ice houses were standard, a small ice storage room within or near a wine cellar is possible in a grand functional setting, especially in your magical resort where the convenience of modern amenities justify such a blend. Okay, I mean that sounds good. Um, okay, so I'm not even sure I'm going to put that in there, but I was having a thought earlier that a section of the cellar. This is the wine cellar in the biggest hotel in the kingdom. Um, might have uh, a perpetual, let's say, ice cavern, just a small one. So probably magically um, is magically uh, frozen all year, so they could uh, break off pieces of ice. That would also lend credence to the ice pick being there because it would be in the vicinity. It would be in the vicinity. Perpetually magically frozen ice cavern within a wine cellar of the kingdom's largest hotel is believable in atmospheric conditions, especially in a fantasy setting where the magic provides modern conveniences. Such a feature would serve as a dedicated ice source for chilling wine buckets. Cocktails or culinaries make the presence of an ice pack entirely plausible. Staff or guests might regularly chip off pieces for use in the tasting alcove nearby, explaining why the tool is left on the table or stored in the bucket. This setup enhances world building by showing how magic replaces technology. A frozen cavern acts like a walk-in freezer, maintained by enchantments rather than machinery. Fits seamlessly. Okay. Um, Also, if I did add, so this is kind of important, but if I did, okay, so I'm gonna be going till 12:30 instead of 1 o'clock, right? Okay, I'll be taking my break at 12:30, which is about an hour from now. Okay. Anyways, okay, let me go back here. Pardon me. I wonder what that's about. Okay, I did add this um uh if I did add this I might. Okay, so I'm still contemplating whether to add could add it in or just leave it as the player doesn't act with it. However, if I did add it in specifically, the princess has been captured and placed there where she escapes. I would need a reason for it to be there, in which case someone would have to choose that as a choice. It's just a choose your own adventure style at the moment, going to evolve to be fully point and click graphical adventure. But the page would need a reason to be there. In which case I might have to put the ice pick stuck in a piece of ice in the cavern. And so that they would have something to do there. But I might just leave it in the bucket with no explanation of the ice itself, as that's really more a backstory thing. Like, I would have something in mind and not just placing items for the sake of it. Strong interactive design choice, especially for a point-and-click adventure. Puzzle interactions. Okay, she's not actually going to pry open her shackles, though. They're going to have to come in and do it, but... You know what? It's going to add a little bit more work, a little bit extra. I think I might add it. What are these pictures of here? What's this? It's a Tumbleweed Park, it looks like. I don't know what that is. Okay. Any style of adventure would have to have a reason to put something in. That is, it's something the player wants to interact with. If it's something that piques the player's interest, then you need to do something with it. At this point, it's still all text, so I can note this for later when I do actually have a graphic adventure. In fact, you know what? I can actually change it if I want to later on when I get to that point. fact, when I get to the point I added a parser, inventory, and puzzles, I could change, I could leave it out now, but then change the scene to include that as a scene and interaction. The object, like an ice pick, is present, should be interactable and useful. Um, yeah, yeah. Text can foreshadow it. Oh yeah, oh that's right. I could add it in without actually being a separate location. I didn't think about that. Okay. All right. I'll remember that. I'll remember that. Okay. So we. Okay. So let's do the dumb waiter first. She gets in the dumb waiter. Right. Okay. Okay. So what I'm gonna try here, I'm gonna call it finding a way to escape. That's what I call it. So it's going to be okay. It's the way that I have these. Like, something I didn't think about. What? Okay, so let's. All right, hold on a sec. See, I had two more people pop in and then they left. Why? Just because I was talking to AI, I guess. I mean, I'm still figuring stuff out. I'm still figuring out backstory and whatever. That's just. But how do I stop people from like leaving automatically? Right? I gotta have something visual on there. I gotta be doing something. It's almost kind of why I want to hurry up and finish this version. If I finish this version and I got it out, um, the narrative part will be just kind of boring stuff too. I'll be taking the text and transforming it, but the faster I get with the phases, the faster I get the phases done, the more progress there is, the more stuff I can put into my stream. Right? That isn't like all the same thing. So whatever is whatever. Uh, there's nothing I can do about that right now, right? Because this is the thing I got to do. I mean, I can't not do it. I can only just do it off of screen, right? So, and I'm doing off the screen. So that means I have to have B-roll, quote unquote B-roll. When you're editing, the term A-roll and B-roll was literally because what they'd have is and it's called A/B editing. It's back when they were editing tapes, um, actual magnetic tape, not film. Film doesn't have a B roll per se. Um, I mean, you have stuff you cut into when you're editing stuff. You have I forget what they call inserts or whatever, but it's a similar kind of deal. But A-roll and B-roll comes from when they're editing video, say for news broadcast, and uh, the reporter is talking about something and explaining something, and then B-roll is to show what they're explaining. It's to show just basic extra footage. We always say B-roll even when we're talking about clips and stuff. You know, it's just alternate clips that you splice in to your edit, and so that's where the term B-roll came from. So, but I essentially, in live streaming, you wouldn't have B-roll. I mean, you might cut to a pre-recorded like video. You know, say you're doing a live broadcast of a tree lighting ceremony or something, and you want to talk about the city or whatever. Then you might have the reporter. It might be live, and then they run some footage of the town and how it started and how the tree lighting ceremony started and that kind of thing. That would still kind of technically be called B-roll. So I essentially need some B-roll type of stuff for my stream so that you have something to look at least. And if I'm like making art or I'm sketching or whatever, I guess it can't really be stuff like me like uh, the control line control exercises. I mean, I can probably do that, and I probably will do that, but that probably won't be as interesting as actually starting to work on some art concept or otherwise for the game itself. Especially if I'm doing art related to what I'm working on. In fact, that's probably what I should do when I start doing this. I should let's say the next chapter. I may or may not get uh, chapter 5 done today, but if I do get it done today, maybe what I need to do tonight sometime is say, okay, what's in chapter 6? And maybe I can get some ideas, some pictures together of what I want it to look like, and you know, yeah. So, anyways, let's get back to the thing here, right? Um, let's go ahead and actually reload save scene. I don't care, it's blank. That's all right. Okay. I know I added those extra two deals, but I'll okay, so okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename P5, P6, the rescue plan. Okay. Did I the rescue plan? And this should be it might should be this might should be a title 2 P0. Oh, why don't I okay, I know what to do with these. These should all be yeah, they should all be renamed. Well, why don't I just do that manually here? It'd be quicker. Open a new tab. Yeah, some things wouldn't be quicker though. The IDs would still be the same. I have to actually go in and change the IDs and the doors. Let me go. All right, let's go to rooms. Let's go to old rooms. Uh, Now, how did I do this when I was doing the old thing? Manually rename JSON prefixes. Oh, yeah, I can. Yeah, okay, if I do that. Update all prefixes. Uh, Directories, data, okay. JSON ends with new ID. Old ID equals ID, data ID. File name. Doors in data. Door destination. Extract descriptive part of old destination after first underscore. Door. JSON files updated, update metadata files. I think I can just do this directly. So I can update the prefixes on the file names, and then it will go in and propagate to the metadata files and to the... I think I can do that. Manually retitle pages. Update names from label. Sanitize label. Label equals... Huh. Okay. Update names from label. And that would be actually be title now. It would be from label. Reformat pages. And I don't need to reformat pages. Okay. Um, all right, so let's see. I'm using ChatGPT. Let's see, using ChatGPT. Let me check something for a quick second. See where I was at here. Okay, now I had a few Python scripts written by AI chatbots. I think it was Claude, but also you. In any case, I'm going to paste them AI chatbots, but I need a modification. I need analysis. What's this? One, and I need analysis of two scripts, two scripts to see if I can change them so that it works with different JSON files. I'll explain in a moment. Let me pull up the scripts. Okay, so let's just go ahead and update all prefixes, update names from label. Open text editor. Select all, copy. Okay, so basically, I had some old JSON files with my room format. Included ID, label, description, and doors, which was an array of door objects with choice, with ID, choice, and destination ID. And then I added a chapter field to the room format, and also changed the word label to title. Please acknowledge before I paste the first script. Okay. Now let's checking changes. Add chapter field, renamed label to title. Go ahead. Okay. This particular script okay. I run this particular script after I update all the file prefixes. Ooh, I got some people talking to me in IRC. That's cool. I will convert your rooms into whatever formats you want for a modest fee of $20 a pop for a discount. uh, thanks, but I don't have that kind of money. Sorry, Bob, I don't have that kind of money. I'm all strapped for cash right now. I run this particular script after I update all the file prefixes. In the on the actual JSON file names. It then takes that prefix, a number in the format of 0, add 1, E0, room name. I'll do it in capital letters, room name. Actually, this is the dash here. JSON. And updates all the door destination IDs and all the file, the room IDs, as well as some metadata files to match the file name of the room currently being processed. Enter. Please analyze first before I ask a question. That's fine. You can pay me once your Phase 1 succeeds commercially on Steam, Xbox Store, and PlayStation Store. Yeah, sure. People will pay for that, I'm sure. Here's a clear breakdown of what it does. It does it without changing anything. Builds a mapping of file names, scans, strips that Jace uses the full file name without extension as a new ID. stores it in, right? Updates each room JSON file for every room, opens the file, replaces, so the room's internal ID now matches the file name prefix. It prints the change. Yeah, old to, yeah. Updates each store destination, takes the existing destination, strips off the part before the underscore, then tries to match that to the right hand side of file names after the hyphen, specifically in each file name like that. If those match, it replaces destination with the full new room ID, right? Okay, works as long as the descriptive names match. Does not care about chapters or titles. Assume your format is underscore plus name hyphen plus name. Saves the file back rewritten. Updates the file names. Okay. Does not care about your schema. It only touches ID and doors destination. Assumes naming convention. Okay. Does not validate JSON format beyond files used. You said doesn't write. Okay, that's fine. Door destination field renamed. Doors array renamed. File name pattern changes. Anything stops matching. Okay. So basically, I want to run this. Okay. I was just responding to him in IRC, even though I basically responded to you in the video. It's always still just a weird thing to me because I'm just staring at a camera, right? And it's supposed to be like you're watching, but I'm not looking at a person. I'm looking at a camera. Maybe I could visualize I'm looking at somebody. Maybe. So I was flip between that and the chat just to make sure that uh, that you heard me or whatever. And I type stuff in there just to show that I'm responding. So basically, I want to run this on the current version of the file. Of course, the old file name. So if I change the prefixes, I want it to update all of them, including the ID, the door destination, and metadata file names. So let's see. Does it rely on the previous version of the file name? I guess that's really what I'm asking. Stare at the camera and talk to me. Yeah, I know. It's just it's still just a little weird to me is all. And why am I looking up at the camera? Because the dang stupid chair's falling down again. You pull it out, pop that back in. It's got a locking mechanism. The chair does. And I think it still works because it doesn't automatically go down when I pop it back in. But I think what it does is over time it like works its way out, and so then my chair sinks down. In any case, let me go look at here. Let's do this. Open a new tab. Do that, and then we'll go back to here. And we'll go to the old projects, and we'll go to BK2, which is my last old one. We're gonna go to rooms. We're gonna go into okay. So the old file name is 000 underscore room name JSON. So could I use it on the newer version of the file? Because what it does is just update the prefixes, correct? Okay. So hopefully it'll just say you can run it on the current version. It does not depend on the old prefixes. It rewrites everything based on whatever the file names are right now. Slightly longer, but still stack size. The script does not compare the previous file names. It only looks at the current file names in the directory, turns those into new IDs, and rewrites room ID every door destination. Metadata file names. So long as you rename the files first, the script updates everything to match the new names. The old prefix is completely irrelevant. But it does rely on two tiny assumptions. Room file names look like prefix descriptive name. Door destinations look like anything descriptive name. So prefixes can change. Chapter tokens like are fine. Label title changes irrelevant. Added chapter field irrelevant. Just keep the descriptive tell the same. And it will happily do its thing like a very diligent goblin accountant. Okay, so okay, I'm going to do that first, and then ask you about the second script. Ideally, you can set up a Discord, and viewers you allow would talk at times. Yeah, I haven't. I could set up a Discord. I mean, at some point, I probably will, anyways. Just because, I want to have a community where I can just talk to people directly. I don't have one right now just because I don't have that many viewers. Right now there's 5, and 2 of them may be me, may not be me. The only reason I say that is because it seems the viewer seems to jump up to 2 when I open my browser windows, but at the same time sometimes it'll say 1 and 0. In other words, 1 from say YouTube and then 0 from Rumble or vice versa. And I can't really tell if it's because it's my account opening or if it doesn't count me because I'm the owner of the channel or whatever. So, but yeah, I do want to set up a Discord at some point, but it's not going to have that many people at first. But yeah, yeah. In fact, I have a friend that has a Discord that sometimes he sets up for speech between two, voice chat, and then puts it on the stream. So I could do that eventually. I don't know if it's a good idea to do it early. Maybe it's a good idea to already have the Discord there just in case, Um, and then or if I should wait until I start getting a few more people to kind of justify actually having a Discord. Anyways, let me go ahead and do the thing I was going to do, which is I was actually going to run old rooms. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take. It's kind of interesting here. I'll go ahead and I was going to rename the. Actually, I was going to rename all of these. I was going to rename the last one as a title 2, but actually these should all be titles. In fact, they should all be title 2. Anyways, so let's just go ahead and I'm just going to do a copy instead of a. I'm going to put this in older room. Paste rooms. Actually, we're going to delete this too. Delete. And we are going to go ahead and go to open a new tab. And we're going to go to layout tool. And I'm going to copy the same files, the metadata files. And we are going to D5. No, what am I thinking? Chapter 5. Chapter 5. There we go. These ones. P6. Okay. Copy. Copy, copy. Roger, roger. And that is. Okay, what one is this? This is okay. This is the older project. I'm gonna close that for right now. We're gonna go into old rooms, metadata, paste. And update coordinates is just a script that I can change the coordinates of all of them, because sometimes I have a bunch of them, and um what did I say? Sometimes I have a bunch of them, and they're in the way of something else, and so I have to move them. Even the biggest streamers have only like 1 to 2 voice chatters allowed in the Discord, anyways. Would be kind of like hanging out at a bar or something. Gotta try that magic ice picker. Yeah. Well, the ice pick isn't gonna be magic though. It's I'm just kind of justifying having stuff there. Okay, so at one point, Hubert and John come down to rescue the princess. Now she's already freed herself. She with the help of some ice, they chewed through through the ropes, because she was tied via rope to one of the wine casks. And then she goes up. She sneaks upstairs in the dumbwaiter, and then she tries to find a way to escape, and stumbles into a room with some important documents, grabs documents, and then is recaptured. And then they put her in chains and shackles so that she makes sure she can't get away. And when John and Hubert come to rescue her, they decide to. Hubert decides he's gonna try to use an unlock spell, even though he has only half of his magic. So literally, it only removes one shackle. And so now, technically speaking, he could have probably just did it twice, and it might would have worked. It might would have not have worked though. If you're just doing it on one shackle, it might only partially work or something. Um, so that's where I was thinking of the idea of John decides to grab the corkscrew and like a cheese knife, and I was thinking, well, cheese knife would be less believable to actually pick a lock, with a cheese knife, right? Even with a corkscrew and a lockpick, ice pick, um, even that is not really realistic, but it's plausible. In other words, it's one of those. Uh, um, what did Walt Disney call it? There was an episode of um, the Walt Disney Show, whatever it was, maybe Wonderful World of Color at the time, where it was talking about animation, and he was talking about the uh, plausible impossible, or some phrase like that. Basically, you do a gag, and there's kind of a logic, like a cartoon logic, right? Like a cow has a bell around her neck, and when you pull on the tail, it rings the bell. That wouldn't work in real life, obviously. That's cartoon logic, but there's a plausibility to it. Oh, well, yeah, I didn't think about that. I was thinking of actually picking the lock, but an ice pick, especially on those kind of locks, and it's probably not magically locked or something. So it's probably they're just shackles. It's like a padlock on the shackles or whatever. Um, so yeah, maybe if they had a mallet or something, or whatever, they could just like pound it and break it open or something. But anyways, the idea is just something believable that I could, or plausible that I could use as to pick a lock. Anyways, so I was going, okay, I'll add the ice pick in there, but would an ice pick be in a wine cellar? Probably not. But unless like the AI was saying, but basically, if you're serving like a champagne, or if you're serving something that is chilled on ice, right? You have a wine bucket and you have ice in it and stuff. You're gonna need to use an ice pick to break off the ice. And so maybe the wine bucket and the ice pick's there. And then that's when I was thinking of the thing about the magic ice cavern, because basically a wine cellar would be now you can build them as a regular structure, but I would think a long time ago they used to carve them out of rock, right? Yeah, basically your cellar is literally the root cellar, right? It's literally underneath the ground, and it's just basically carved out. And so that technically that's what this wine cellar would be. So it would have a little part, a little alcove, or a little cavern that has ice in it, and it has it like year round kind of thing, right? So that's where it all came. I don't know. I just think of this stuff all the time, and sometimes I have to think of, well, if I'm gonna have something here, I gotta be able to do something with it. If I'm gonna have a location, you gotta be able to do something in it, and it's gotta be believable, and there's gotta be a logic, right? So I have to come up with some logic, either some real world logic or some like I have like magic logic, like portal magic works a certain way, and I explained it like, um, when you hold a piece of quicksilver and you have an intention of going somewhere and you voice that, it's like selecting the right frequency that kind of beams it out, and then the quicksilver amplifies it via magic, right? So it amplifies your thought, and then it opens a portal to wherever you want to go. And so when I was thinking of a thing that didn't require Quicksilver to open a portal, I was going, okay, how does this work? And that's where I came up with the frequency thing, because this little device will use a frequency to open a portal. Now, the the big giant portal machine that opens like huge massive portals like everywhere all at once kind of thing, um, would require magic amplification, but it does the device for opening a portal doesn't require any Quicksilver. That was supposed to be the unique thing about it, you know. Anyways, I'm just getting caught up in the weeds again. So let me open a terminal here, and let me go ahead and I got about 12 minutes. I got 12 minutes left before I go to break. Ice picker. You're going to implement player inventory thing where tools will belong to the rooms. Right now there's no inventory. I do have plans on adding inventory. In fact, I'll have a whole phase dedicated to that. But before I do that, I have to introduce a text parser, because otherwise you won't be able to manipulate stuff if you can't manipulate stuff. Right now it's just choose your own adventure, right? To pick your choice. Eventually I'm gonna, add stuff on, and along the way, I'm going to add a parser that takes existing kind of choices and turns them into commands. And then I'm going to add inventory, and then eventually I'll add actual puzzles, and so you'll actually pick up stuff, and it'll be a full adventure game eventually. The first phase is just not going to have it. This first phase is just going to be like a choose your own adventure game almost. So, but yeah, eventually I will have inventory. Okay, so let's go ahead and update the prefixes here. We're going to do a rename. Okay, let's see. We were going to find 005 underscore T1. We're going to say T star underscore T star dash. Okay, there we go. It like matched too many names or something. That's why that red part was coming up. Now, what we want to do is we want to change that into 005 T%N. And we are going to start with 0, but that's all right. I'll do that in a sec here. Underscore P0 dash. Now, let's start this at 0. Okay. T0, T1, right, to T5, right? Okay. Rename. Okay. Close. Okay, so we just renamed all those. And then I'll have to update one more thing once I get that done here. So let's do Python 3. Step 2, update all prefixes.py. Okay. No matching room. Okay, so data. What the what? Something went wrong. Why did that go wrong? These are not supposed to be. No, these are these are all metadata, huh? Metadata. Delete. Wait a second. Oh. I screwed up. That's okay. I'll delete. We'll delete that one. That's okay. I didn't rename these either, like I should have. Okay, so I'll just do that in here in just a second here. Go ahead and we'll rename. Do the same thing. Find 005 underscore. And actually, this is going to do the same thing again, but it's going to just rename the files here. Well, actually, well, that's funny. I didn't actually need to do that because I have to rename these. No, it was supposed to. Okay. Close. Okay, so what? Updating the files, right? Warning: no matching room found for. That's fine. Hot Riding Hood is not um there. That's something different. So that's not gonna work, or that's not gonna be the thing. Okay. No matching room found for T1 P1. Unlikely help. Something. Manually rename the prefixes. Right? That's what I did. I just did here. Update all prefixes. Okay, so that's kind of weird. I'm not sure why. Okay, something went wrong because it couldn't rename the metadata files. In hindsight, it probably couldn't rename the metadata files. Somehow it didn't match the prefixes, and I'm not sure why. Not sure why it didn't. Not sure why. As I have to manually rename the JSON prefixes in the old ones. So it should have just extracted the room name part. Should have extracted the room name part and then applied the new prefix to it. Is the metadata code relying on the old version, old file name, the old prefix, the old style prefix? Because it might be, yeah, your instinct's correct. The metadata renaming part is more fragile and is implicitly relying on the old file name pattern logic, which is why it doesn't match your changes. Okay. If I would have put an underscore, I can actually just manually rename them. I did the renaming thing, and I didn't even need to do anything else. Yeah, but the code actually compares. Okay. Not prefix pieces. Yeah. Place this. Metafile split. Replace. Equals room name. Oh, replace this with this. Um. Uh. Well, I'm still first on the. I'm still on the first script. I got a couple of minutes here. I don't care. I don't care. Let's do this. Can you modify the script to actually extract the room name from the JSON first? So the new file name is going to have a hyphen. So it just needs to extract that, and then it needs to match that name with the metadata file name. Note note anything before the actual matched file name. See that? How did I do that? Underscore, 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 underscore. Maybe I should just manually do it. I mean, there's no reason that I can't just do the same thing with that I did with the other. Because this is a one time to do beforehand before doing anything. Because really, it's supposed to match. It's actually supposed to match the file name. Can we match the file names based on the name itself and not the prefix in order I use set instead of Python for that. I don't know what set is. Never heard of it. You can tell me what it is and maybe I'll look it up. That is maybe iterate through the characters backwards and match the names. So I wonder something though. That's right. This was supposed to. What was it supposed to do? Delimiter. Delimiter. But how did I do that before? What did I do? Split underscore. Splits. Oh, it splits at the. Oh, I see. It splits at the first. First underscore. Splits at the first underscore. Wait, there's an easier way to do this. Can we modify it to say if it doesn't find that? Wait a second. Wrong name that. 00 underscore. Because it's always the first underscore. That's the deal. Just a sec here. Let me think. I should be going on my break right now. Rename the room files according to the room name in the file itself. No, no, not okay. So the metadata, all it has is the X and Y positions of the panels in the editor and in the tool, basically. I suppose I could just manually do it. Why don't I just manually do it? Let's forget about doing it with script. Yeah. Okay, I'll just rename those metadata files manually since they only have X, Y coordinates in them anyways. Okay, I need to go to break. Thanks. Okay, I'm just gonna do this manually. I should have done it already. And it's just the same thing, right? See, it's just those two numbers in there. So all I have to do is I'll just rename these like I renamed the other ones. And whenever I come to something specific, I'll just deal with that at the time I do it. So, we want 005 underscore T star underscore P star dash or hyphen P star dash like that. We want to change it to 005 T percent N underscore P0 dash that. And we want to start this at 0 and we want to rename all those. So that doesn't even matter. And now these are all renamed like I need them to. Okay, so that's going to do it for this part. Join me in an hour, and I will we'll continue this on and see if I see how much. I probably won't get anything done today, but whatever. We'll see. See how much I can get done after the break. So thanks for watching part 1, and I will see you in an hour. Thank you for watching part 1. Stop streaming. So, see you in an hour.